What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raise. When Baywatch was first released in 2017, adapted from the hit 80s TV show of the same name, it had a huge potential of becoming one of the greatest movies of all time. Although the movie wasn't as famous as everyone expected, it still became an iconic movie among audiences. Today, 5 years later, we might have news about a sequel coming out, and here is all we know about it. The main question is, will this sequel happen? Well, the answer isn't quite simple. Upon its release, Baywatch was a flop. In the years to follow, this movie has been voted to be Dwayne Johnson's worst movie of his career. However, even though not many enjoyed it, a sequel isn't impossible. In the past few years, we have seen many older movies get a sequel, and Baywatch appears to be one of them. Although nothing is confirmed, this sequel might be a chance for Johnson to prove himself as a worthy actor and prove that Baywatch won't be his worst movie. It's hard to speculate when there isn't any official news about the movie. But back in 2017, right after the movie premiered, there were talks that the script of the sequel is already in the making. Fast forward 5 years later, and we still have no confirmation. This could all be due to the lack of performance the first movie had at the box office. Even though it was able to collect $177.7 million all over the globe, it still wasn't able to overcome some of the then-released hit movies. Due to this, the script and the entire development of the sequel were paused. This continued for years, and today, the sequel is still paused. Most of the actors have already continued with other projects, especially Johnson, who has starred in some of the biggest movies in the last 5 years. All of the actors have moved on to bigger projects, leaving Baywatch behind, but although it seems unlikely that the sequel will happen, it isn't impossible. Recently, there have been rumors that the directors, alongside Johnson and Zac Efron, are considering making the sequel. It might take a lot of convincing to make it happen, but at least talks are happening about it. This could mean that we are one step closer to smashing that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, we are one step closer to actually seeing the sequel. But when and if it will happen, we are still not sure. Hopefully, the movie will be given a green light in the near future.
What are you guys standing around for? Let's do some shots!
Okay, with all of this said, we must admit that predicting when it can be released, it's hard, but we'll give it a go. In recent months, many have been speculating that the movie will be greenlighted in December 2022. If this is the case, then 2023 will be the year the movie will be developed and filmed. However, many factors can affect the development process. One of those factors is the busy schedule of the actors. The two main roles in the movie, Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron, are both huge global stars that in the past 5 years have been working on various different projects. Their schedule could be one of the main reasons for a delay to the sequel. It would be hard to bring all of these huge stars together once again and have them film the upcoming movie. So, a release date for 2023 seems a bit unlikely. If they do confirm the movie by the end of 2022, we believe that the earliest we would be able to see it would be 2024 or 2025. For now, that seems like a long wait, but we have already waited 5 years, right? To be honest, right now, everything appears to be in the air, with no certain confirmation or any type of announcement from the directors or the cast members. If a sequel is ever to be made, it will likely have to be the result of the fans' enthusiasm overcoming what might otherwise be a significant box office risk. We already talked that the first movie wasn't the big success they expected it to be, so to move forward with a sequel could be a terrible mistake. As much as we'd like to see it, having this sequel could result in the loss of money for the entire production team. A lot goes into making these types of big movies, especially when you have huge global stars as the main characters. All of these cast members need to be paid and still make a profit. So it's hard to imagine how a sequel will perform at the box office, and if it's anything like the first movie, then it might be a huge risk to take. But on the other hand, the sequel could become a huge success, earning double the amount that the first one made. It's fun to speculate on this type of thing, but in the end, it is up to the production house to make the tough decision. And for now, all we can do is wait. Let's say a sequel is happening. Who out of the original cast members would return? Surely there will be no Baywatch without Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. But will they return to reprise their roles? It would only be fair for the two actors to come back for the sequel. But sometimes we have seen sequels move on with a completely different cast than the first ones. In recent years, Dwayne Johnson has been a workaholic who has had his hands full with the making of the Jumanji franchise and most recently the Black Adam movie. All of these movies have taken a lot of his time and made him unable to focus on other projects. He has even backed out from different projects due to his inability to finish them. When it comes to Baywatch, it will all depend on how his schedule is looking. If it is as busy as it was in the past few years, then we are sad to tell you that Johnson might not be making it to Baywatch. The same thing goes for Zac Efron. He has been jumping from one movie to another all the time, and having him back into the Baywatch cast might be too much. For now, nothing is certain, so we will leave this topic up for discussion. Surely there were other cast members involved in the first movie, but there has been a rumor that Priyanka Chopra might be reprising her role in the sequel. Among some of the already familiar faces we saw in the first movie, there will also be a bunch of new faces and characters, and maybe even the entire cast will be recast. This would completely change the dynamic of the movie, but if a sequel is getting made, then the production team has to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. But no, in all seriousness, they have to do everything in their power to keep the old cast members in it or search for new ones. After Baywatch premiered, the producer of the movie, Beau Flynn, said that the sequel will have an amazing storyline where we would see the entire cast go overseas for a similar adventure. The first movie dealt with the misadventures of the Florida lifeguards headed by Mitch Buchannon and their attempts to bring down a drug lord. The movie ends with Casey Jean, portrayed by Pamela Anderson, becoming the new captain, who enters in slow motion, and then the entire team did their slow-mo run on the beach moments before the movie end. Given that in the movie they were trying to bring a drug lord down, the sequel will follow a similar storyline where the team of lifeguards will be faced with another problem and try to bring down the bad guy. For now, all that has been revealed is that Flynn planned on taking them overseas, but where exactly, we are still not sure. The sequel is still not confirmed, so speculating on the exact storyline would be impossible. From what the Baywatch team has said, we can kind of figure out that the sequel will have the same amount of humor and action as in the previous one. If all of the cast members reunite, it could bring a reunion with CJ as the captain this time and the rest of the team working under her command. Surely there will be a bunch of plot twists and unexpected turns, but in the Baywatch fashion, they will eventually all end up running in slow-mo on the beach carefree as they have defeated the bad guy once again. For now, we must wait to see an official announcement or maybe even a script leaked to see what might happen in it. But let's take it one step at a time. Check out this video next.